Hello, beautiful light-filled souls, and especially millennials. My name is Tricia Barker. If you haven't seen my previous video about my near-death experience, you might want to check that out. I had a profound near-death experience my senior year of college, and I was guided by the light to return to my body and work as a teacher. For several years now, I've worked as a college professor, teaching English and creative writing, and I've looked out at this millennial generation, and I love you guys very much, but there are a few things that I think you need to work on. So I've created a series of videos called Mindfulness for Millennials. Now, I know you may associate mindfulness with Buddhism or meditation. It doesn't have to be about meditation or Buddhism though. Mindfulness is just an awareness that you carry with you throughout your day and through your activities and into your relationships, into your work. It helps you de-stress in many ways, and I am going to give you 5 ways today that you can work on mindfulness. The first one is with technology. So I walk through my college campus and I see you guys stuck on your devices. You almost run into me. You almost run into other people or fall down stairwells. For goodness sakes, put the phone away and look up at the world around you. Smile at people, make eye contact. Say hello to professors and bosses and coworkers and fellow students. Engage with the world around you. You don't know when you might need something from someone, and those personal connections mean so much. You might need a reference letter from a professor. You might need notes from a fellow student. So engage, engage, engage. Some of the best friends I made were in college classrooms right before a class began. So consider that and reach out to those around you. People are amazing and they have wonderful gifts to share with you. So get to know those around you. Also, you're not developing your intuition if you're on your phone. You develop intuition through interacting with others. And intuition is that calm, quiet voice that you often don't hear in the back of your mind. Sometimes you brush it aside and you listen to what people say to you instead, but intuition is a large topic that I'll get into later. But for now, just know that interacting with others will help you develop intuition. So first way to be mindful with your devices and put them away. And the second way to be mindful kind of ties into this one, but it's in your relationships. So again, your relationships with friends and romantic partners, family, put devices away. I see couples, millennial couples out in the world, and they're both sitting somewhere and they're both on their phone. And I think, did it start with one person? Is one person addicted to technology and the other person feels lonely and so they get on their phone for connection? Go ahead and talk to each other. There's a lot that you can gain from deep communication and deep listening. So listen very carefully and get to know someone. This will help you decide in many cases whether to be with that person or not to be with that person. But the deeper your communication, the better you will understand this person. And a lot of times, I think that people have shallow relationships because they're so disjointed. You know, they're on their devices, they're doing this, they're talking to someone else, they're talking to this person. They don't really take the time and slow down to have a deep relationship with another person. And it can be much deeper if you put away the devices for several hours at a time and really just don't interact with technology and get to know other people. Along those lines, bosses and professors, we really appreciate human interaction. I get something like 250 emails a day. The last thing I want is another email. If you have a problem or if you have a need, a student who comes to me and talks to me directly gets my undivided attention. I'm able to make a personal connection with that person. I care about their success. An email is just another thing I have to deal with. So really consider making that personal connection with your bosses and your professors. Third thing is, my God, you are a stressed out generation. You need to take more breaks. So millennials, take breaks. This is essentially the basis of mindfulness in that People who meditate are often more mindful, at least for a few hours after meditation. Not everyone who has a practice is mindful throughout their lives, but it can certainly help you physiologically and psychologically. So consider meditating. If you don't want to meditate, and there are other ways to take breaks, when I came back to college after my accident and recovering from it, I was so happy to be alive. And I was at a beautiful campus in Austin, the UT campus, and I took many breaks. So I would sit out on a park bench and people watch, and there's lots of good people watching in Austin. I'd watch squirrels running up trees, and I was so ecstatic to be alive. I was just happy, and every moment was joyful. I was grateful for every moment I was breathing, walking, and above ground. And I would like for you guys to incorporate some of that gratitude into your life. Realize how precious this life is, and breaks can help you do that. As you just watch the world go by, your worries kind of leave you for a time. So whether you meditate, whether you go sit on a bench somewhere, whether you put some music on and just don't think about your problems for a time, consider taking breaks. Exercise is great, but you also need breaks. And during those breaks, do not answer a single email, text, anything. Just disconnect. So the third thing, it is important, take breaks. The fourth thing that I think you should do is to go out into nature. Now, nature is very healing. A lot of people don't look at nature in that way. They look at it as, oh, this beautiful scenery that I can go look at. But nature has energy in it that is very healing to the human body. So consider spending time in nature, especially if you have any trauma that you're trying to recover from. Spending quiet, peaceful moments in nature can be very healing. I saw a girl on the trail the other day, and she had her cell phone out, and then her dog's leash went all the way across the trail. I was worried that a bike could hit her. She is not being mindful in interacting with the world that way. There was a woman on the Katy Trail in Dallas who was hit by a bike and killed. So these bikes go very fast. Her dog could have gotten hurt. She could have gotten hurt. And she was, she was out in nature at least, but she wasn't mindful about her surroundings. So protect yourself, protect the things you love, your pets, your children. Be mindful about your situation. I don't want you to have to wake up the way I woke up, which was with a car wreck and a near-death experience. That was a hard way to wake up. I want you to wake up gradually and happily in peaceful moments. And one of the best ways to wake up is in nature. There's a book that was written several years ago called The Celestine Prophecy, and it lists the different ways that people can begin to have greater awareness. And one of the first ways is to go out into nature and sense the energy of nature, and then you begin to awaken spiritually. So I really implore you to go into nature. And the fifth way that you can be more mindful kind of ties into nature, and that is nourish your body. So after my accident, I was recovering, and I researched what ways would help me recover from my accident quickly. I was in a body cast in Texas in the summer, which is very hot, so I wanted to get out of that body cast, and I wanted to start rehabilitation in a swimming pool, and there was a lot of reasons why I wanted to recover quickly. So I decided that a diet of mostly raw fruits and vegetables would help my body heal. And it did. It was great. I think that anyone who adds a lot of fruit and vegetables to their diet is going to be a lot healthier. But you do your own research and you find what is going to nourish your body. Now, there have been times in my life, especially before my near-death experience, when I was running around hungover and caffeinated and tired, and my mind was just going. I didn't have a single break or a single moment where I wasn't worried about the next thing I was going to do. And that is the opposite of mindfulness. Mindfulness is being very aware of what you're doing, taking breaks, and taking very good care of yourself. Your body has to take you through this life, so you might as well take good care of it. And that's my fifth and final point. So I care a lot about you millennials. I want you to have great relationships. I want you to have great careers. I want you to make all the corporations in this world more sustainable because of your connection to nature. I want you to be wildly successful and wildly happy And that might begin with being mindful. So I'm signing off now. This is Tricia Barker. You can find me at Tricia Teacher on Twitter. I'm on all the platforms, but I know when and how to disconnect, so you disconnect as well. Take care.